All right, Math 87, Lesson 25, page 141, dividing fractions. I know I taught this to you guys earlier this year, and nobody seemed to want to do it, but it doesn't make any difference. You still have to do it, okay? This will help you much. When you divide fractions, you look at your pencil, and your pencil has something to say to you. You just look at the eraser on your pencil, and you say, how do I divide fractions? And your pencil says, invert and multiply in a high squeaky voice. If you will do that, invert and multiply in a high squeaky voice. It makes you feel silly. You laugh at it, but you'll never forget. Okay? It's important to remember how to divide fractions. Okay? The way you divide fractions is you invert and you multiply. Okay? Invert means to turn over. All right? So anytime you have a fraction divided by a fraction, you invert the second part. Never the first. You invert the second part. Never the first. You invert the second part. You turn it over and then multiply. Okay, so we have 2/3 divided by 3/4. That's 2/3. This does not change. Times, invert this, turn it over, and now we check to see if we can cross cancel, if we can reduce. Watch this, not here to here and not here to here, top to bottom. Nothing will work, so we just multiply. It's 8 over, wow, if I could write, 8 over 9. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9. That's reduced. There's nothing else to do. Same thing here. You have a fraction divided by a fraction. You invert, and multiply. So it's 3/4 times 10 over 9. All right? That's what we do. We do the same thing every single time. Now, we check to see if we can cross cancel. In this one we can, between the 3 and the 9. 3 goes in here once, 3 goes in here 3 times. Between the 4 and the 10. 2 goes in here twice, 2 goes in here 5 times. Now we just multiply. 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, and you're done. That's it. All right? Now there's another part to this. Remember, invert the second one and multiply. Invert the second one and multiply. All right? Now there's another part to this thing over here. You're going to see these words. It's going to say, they're going to ask you, how many of these are in here? When you have these words, this verbiage, when it says this, it's always the first one divided by the second one. It's always, Stephen, the first one divided by the second one. When it says how many whatever are in whatever, this is the first one. You just write it down. Divided by the first one. Wow, that's a bad 2. Bad 2. When you're dividing by a fraction, what do? You invert and multiply. So I have 3/4 times 3 over 2. There's nothing we can cross cancel, so it is just 9 over 8. Okay? Do not invert this one. Invert this second one. Remember, it's the first one divided by the second one, and then you invert and multiply. You got to remember that, because when it asks you this, you have to remember, you take the first one, you're going to take the second one, and it goes right here in the front. You take the second one, and you're going to divide by it. So you're going to invert by the first one here. I said that wrong. Okay? When you see those words, remember that's what you have to do.